Hello everyone, welcome to a new Flarum live stream. It's been a while. I hope my setup is still working. I hope the sound is good. It looks good on my side. I hope you can see me, but I will switch to the desktop in a few seconds. I just wanted to post on Discord that I'm live, but I had some trouble. I will just do that now. Yeah, we'll just post a message on Discord and we will be good to go. Like this. All right, let me open the chat now. Yep, okay, so I can see your message if you post any. I don't see any comments so far. Yep, everything seems good. Yep, all right, so I'm closing Discord and yep, I think we are all good to go. So let's switch to the desktop. We will create a new extension for Flarum today. I mean, we will not finish today. It will take a lot of time. So yeah, we will be at this for a while and I'm hoping to make this into a series. Yeah, so if we go to my little presentation here. Oh yeah, when I open this, I can no longer see the chat. Yeah, whatever. I will check your chat later. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to make a Flarum video on demand platform. So it will be an extension, but there are a few use cases which I put here. So we will do this while thinking about those two use cases. So one of the use cases is to create a platform where we can post tutorials. And the other use case is to make a private media server. So basically the second use case is mostly the reason I went into this. I'm planning to use it as a media server. But then I was thinking, that's a really good idea for an extension. And in this case, we will think, so mostly today we will think about the first use case, which is to publish videos on our own website. And the idea will be to post tutorials. So the use case will basically be, what if we put this YouTube channel on replay on my own website? That's kind of the idea for the use case. So we'll create a website and I used a few of my own videos we will test with, and this is what we will build. So the idea here is something optimized to broadcast on the web. There will be videos that you can watch on their own, or you might have a single series of video about a topic, for example, and then you can watch part 1, part 2, etc. And the idea here is that having community integration is important, so we want comments and stuff like that. The other use case will reuse a lot of the features we will touch on the first part. And basically it's to create a media server. So here we will have probably much larger files to stream because we don't really care about streaming over the internet. And here we will try to create thumbnails for movies and series. So this will be a bit of a different use case, but it's very similar. Let me just check if we have any comments because I don't see them. No, okay, so no comments so far. Let's go back to my little presentation. So this is what we are going to build. Again, I don't think we can do all of that today, not in 2 hours, but we will see how much we can do. So here are a few of the things I want to do. We want a way to list videos, and videos will have a title, a description, and a thumbnail. For now, that's all we will have about a movie. Just that. We will have a player on the website. We will build a custom player for this. We could reuse a lot of existing players, but I want to build a custom player. and that player will play a VOD playlist in the HLS format. So we will not upload the videos ourselves. We will use a service that generates HLS hosted playlists for us, and we will just play the playlist. Because yeah, it's very complicated to build this. I will try to do something about that to create my local server, but this will not be part of the extension, and I will do that off stream. So basically, we will play HLS streams. We will have some way of activating subtitles. We will use WebVTT for that, which is a text format for subtitles. And something I really want that not every player has are the seek thumbnails. I will show you how that works, but basically when you skip ahead, you can put your mouse on the timeline and see some thumbnails. Not every video service has them, and that's something that's really important to me because I like to rewatch videos, and it's really important to be able to seek accurately in the timelines. Something else we want to build is watch profiles. So we want a way to track what you have seen, how much you have seen of each movie, where to continue from, and also similar to this is an up next feature. So if you watch something from a list of videos, we want a way to suggest you the next video, even if you didn't start it. So yeah, then we will have some kind of comments feature. We will reuse what Flarum has to offer, but we will build it together with the video player, and we will build a way to mention timestamps. And for now, it will just be in the comments, but maybe we could do something more fancy in the future where we can show the comments on top of the videos, like some service do. Like they show you a timeline of comments, and you can see which comment is posted at which time, but we will not go into that at the beginning. Then we will have playlists, so that's related to that up next feature. So the ability to create a list and to put videos in a given order, and that will create a playlist. All of these are features that admins will manage. So regular users will not be able to create videos or create playlists. This will be set up by an administrator. And something really important to me as well, but not too much important for the first feature, is to have multiple audio and multiple subtitle tracks. Which is multiple audios is not something that a lot of players have from what I have tested. So this will be a bit of a challenge as well. This is not really useful for the tutorial use case, unless we start creating multilingual tutorials, but this will be very useful for movies because I have a lot of movies with English and French tracks, and as well as audio commentary. So yeah, we will need to build something for that. That's what I'm interested in doing. Let me check back on the stream. Yeah, we have 2 people watching. Don't hesitate to leave any question in the live chat. I will check it every few minutes. Right now, when I open the presentation, it hides my second screen, but I have your comments on the second screen. Yeah, so, it went back. Okay, so those were the requirements. And just to go through this, I made a few other slides. So we have a slide, this one is nice to have. This is something I'd like to implement at some point, but it's not the priority. So one thing will be to add more meta information to movies, like the year, who produced the movie, directors, actors, and to be able to filter movies with those characteristics. Linked to that is probably the best source I found for that is to use the movie database. It's a website that has an API and can query for a lot of movies and series. So somehow I want to build something that will be able to sync that information. So that's useful for the media server part, not really for the tutorials use case. Something else, we will have to see how to build series with seasons. I don't really know how I will do that right now, but I need that feature for the media server. So yeah, Then something else is to store which audio track you were playing while in the movie, because if you close the movie and come back later, if you only have the progress but not the audio track, you will have to switch it again every time, so we'll try to store that somehow. Then another feature I really like, which we have on many streaming websites, is the ability to skip the intros and the credits. So that's something I would like to implement, but that's really not a very important feature. And then we need to have some way of putting the bonus features on movies as well. I'm not really sure how to do that yet. But yeah, since I have a lot of Blu-rays and I want to move that into that server somehow. So we have a lot of bonus videos that we don't want to show on the main page. We only want them hidden under a main feature. So we will see how to do that. And then I also made just a list here of things for later that I don't really care right now, but might be useful somehow. Chapters. I don't really care for movie chapters, but actually this might be useful for tutorials as well, like YouTube chapters. So that's an idea for something much later. Then the ability for users to add movies to their favorites. And likewise to add ratings and to like some of the films. Yeah, those are not really useful right now. And so something I have in other software, like you have the ability to watch trailers or to have some more information about the film. I don't really care about that. So yeah, that's about it for the features. So I hope you are interested in this concept, and so we will get started. So we will work with Flarum 1.4. We might switch to Flarum 1.5 when it gets released. But yeah, right now we will stick to 1.4. And we'll create a custom extension for this. We have the extension generator, but I don't really like it. So I usually just copy paste another extension. So that's what I will do here. But we will go through each file, so you will see it will not be much different from using the generator. I think I might copy this one. Yeah. Yeah, I think I will just copy first post approval. Or maybe I can copy this one. This one has admin and forum. It has shims. I'm not sure if I will need this. Let's just copy first post approval for now. So let's create my new extension folder. I have already set up a dev setup for Flarum here. I have a workbench folder. So here I can just rename my folder. I will call it Flarum Ext VOD. I will delete the Git folder of the old extension. And yeah, I think we can go with that. Then let's open it in here. So Flarum 1.4 workbench VOD. Where are you? Here. Okay. Now I can just drop so everything we have here. So I will empty the README file. So I will just call this Flarum VOD proof of concept for Flarum video on demand module. So let's do it like this. License will be MIT, so you can reuse this code if you would like. Next, let's go to composer.json. Let's call this Flarum Ext VOD, video on demand for Flarum. Let's just change this, put the requirements will be at least Flarum 1.4. Next, Yeah, we don't really need all of this, but let's just keep the source link. Let's change the namespace so it will be Clark, and then I think I will just call the namespace VOD. Extension will be called VOD. Put it in the feature category. That we don't really need, that we don't need. And now let's just choose an icon. The hardest part of any extension development, choose the icon. So let's just find a font awesome icon. Which one is nice? Maybe the TV? Yeah, let's go with the TV. Yeah, let's go with the TV icon. So FAS, FA, TV. Perfect. Next, extend.php. So here we can change the namespace because I copy-pasted it. We will most likely need the save the event extender, so I can keep it. I can drop this, I can drop this. We will have a forum, so let's just add the line for forum right now. Perfect. Next, so prepare the JavaScript. So I will just rename the package I copied, so Clark VOD. We will use TypeScript. We will use the Flarum Webpack config 2.0. This is already ready. Yep, next we can install the JavaScript dependencies. So I will just delete what I copied previously. Now, is it crashing already? No. In the JS folder, we will do yarn install. Something that was missing are the files for forum. So we will just recreate the files for the forum frontend. TypeScript, so let's just create those files. So usually you will have those files if you use the extension generator, but I'm just creating them by hand. And now we can just rename the extender from the other extension, drop this, yep, something like this. Okay, so I think we have the bootstrap code. We have the migrations folder. Actually, I need to rename it because otherwise, so we will need some migrations, but if I leave that old migration there, it will run when I enable my extension. So for now, let's just rename the folder migrations2, and we will fix that later. Yeah, then we have the locals. So here I can also rename the namespace, but we will change the translations. And we have an src folder, and I can just drop whatever was in there. All right, I think this time we are good to start coding. So now I can take my extension name. I can go in my Flarum folder. I can run composer require and install from the workbench folder. Next, I can go to the site, refresh the admin panel. Maybe we can disable a few extensions. I think we have SEO. Yeah, we have SEO enabled. Let's drop that one because it might do some harm. Everything else is probably safe, but just to not confuse you too much, let's just drop everything that makes significant changes to the UI so that it looks more like a regular site. And maybe you are wondering what this new title is here. I think I left I left some code in the root extend.php. Yeah, that was just a test. Yeah, I can remove that. So yeah, that's custom pass. I will also disable this one. Yeah, I think we will be good to go. Yeah, we can also disable mass actions. We don't really need it for this. Yeah, I mean, we don't need any of these, so let's just drop them. So our new extension is here, so we'll just enable it. And we need to start compiling the JavaScript. So if we go back to VOD.js, actually I think I have the terminal open. Yes, so we can run yarn dev to watch the JavaScript file. All right. So now maybe let's just take a look at yeah, let me just show you what we will use for the actual streaming. So I have a free try of this website, which is a Swiss host that has a video on demand streaming service. So we will use this for the tests today, and in the next videos we might try some other sites. But yeah, this one is free for now, so I will use this. So I'm not sure what they did, because you can see here this video is still processing and it's at 1000%. So yeah, whatever is happening there. But we have this video which is ready. So this site, yeah, it's in French here, but it's not really important. So basically, I just give this website my video file, and it creates the streamed version of the video. And they have their own player. So this is... Oh, yeah, you will hear the sound. I don't know if you will hear the sound, but it's not really important. But just... so this is a video that... Oh, I don't have the correct... the sound is not on the correct place. Okay. Okay, now that's better. Okay, so we will start with this video for tests. And yeah, this is a really short video that I made for another YouTube channel. So we have just 5 minutes and a half. So Infomaniac here, they have their own video player, which has a lot of the features we want. But we will still make our own player. What they give us is here, if we go to embed, they give us the code to add their own player, but they also give us the URL here. Which one is it? Here we have the HLS URL. So basically we will use this. This is the information we will give Flarum, and then Flarum will render a player based on that link. And this file is just, I know we cannot see it in the browser, I think, but it's just a text file. And it gives the player information where to find the video files. Yeah, so that's what we will use. And another thing we will use that I didn't copy here is that we will use HLS.js. So this library allows us to play HLS playlists using a video tag. So this is what we will use. I think that's all we need to start. So yeah. I'm not really sure in which order to make things, so if you have any questions, just leave them, or if you have something you would like to see first, tell me as well. For now, I think I will just hardcode a page on Flarum, and we'll try to play the video on that page, just so we start with something a bit interactive. So this will be all JavaScript for now. So if I go to forum, I will create a new folder for components. Now I will do a page which will be called video test page. So this one will not stay, but I will use it for now. And I will create something which will be called the player. So those are our two components, the page, so export default class video test page, extends page. So I hope the imports work. Do the imports work? Why is it not working? So I will just restart PHP Storm. I don't really know what's happening because sometimes the Flarum imports work just fine in PHP Storm and other times I just cannot get them working, and I have no idea because yeah, it works in a project, then I copy paste the project and then it no longer works. So don't really know, but sometimes restarting does the trick. Hello Nash, welcome to the stream. Yeah, feel free to drop any question. Yeah, we took already half an hour and we still don't see a player. Yeah. But we will see one soon. Yeah, it's indexing again. We can also tell PHP Storm that this project is PHP 7.3 since that's the requirements for Flarum. We might actually bump the requirements to another version later because yeah, this is a proof of concept, so I will not try to support every Flarum hosting. We'll just try to get things working. So is it working? No, why is it not working? Import app from Flarum. So I really don't know why. Sometimes it works and sometimes not. Import page from Flarum common components page. Really not sure what's going on with that. Because when PHP Storm finds this line, it should be able to provide autocomplete for Flarum classes, but somehow it's not always working, and I really don't know why. Yeah. So let's just do return hello world for now. So this is my page. Next, in index.js, I have my initializer, and what I can do here is to do app.roots dot let's just call this one VOD test, and if I remember correctly, I think it's path, and then I can do component video test page like this, and next we can just add the link. Yeah, it's always annoying when the autocomplete is not working, and I have no idea why. Sometimes it works and sometimes not. So I will just write the imports by hand, but of course it means I need to know where the things are. So yeah, luckily I do. So index page. Wow, again I cannot even. That's annoying real fast when it's not working. From components index page. So extend index page dot type nav items function items. So I'm trying to add a link in the sidebar. Yeah, I think I will be too annoyed if it's not working. So I will just try to delete the vendor folder, maybe. Really don't know why sometimes. Yeah, let's just, so I dropped the PHP because, yeah, it's a bit confusing because the files that contain the typings for Flarum, they are in the vendor folder because they come from PHP. I mean, they come from Composer, which is usually for PHP packages, but in the case of Flarum, that's how you also get the typings, which are in the same repository. So yeah, and then we can do composer install just to try to get the typings working. And in the meantime, we will add link button like this, href VOD. I don't remember if it will route internally automatically. I'm not even sure, but let's just create that button like this and put icon FIS FA TV. Yep, now let's see what happens when we visit the website. So let's go here. Okay, so it works. So you can see we created a new link called VOD in the admin navigation, and when we click, we are led to our new page /VOD, which contains Hello World. Just one last thing we need to do for our page is like if we refresh, you can see it fails because we need to tell the backend that there is a page. Even though it's a completely client-side page, Flarum needs to know that there is a page there. So we can just go to the forum front-end extender and just tell this file that there is a page, and of course I need to wait again for the indexing. We will get to that eventually. Oh no, it's taking forever. What's the name of the extender again? Yeah. Yeah, here I'm really lost without my auto-completion in the PHP side, because how is it called? I don't even know. I cannot remember how it's called. So we will just wait for the indexing to be done. Otherwise, maybe in the meantime, we can just rename the migration here. So let's, yeah, this is very annoying. You cannot even rename a file in PHP Storm while things are being indexed. So let's just go in the folder here. So let's just rename that migration. So I will call it with today's date. I will use this syntax, and we'll create, let's start by creating a new table. So let's create videos table. So let's call it like this. I can rename the folder back to migrations. Now that the extension is enabled, this will not be parsed again until we run migrate, so we can work on it. And here, instead of adding some columns, we will do a migration. No, I will copy that from another extension. So let's just go to another extension here. Let's go to discussion bookmarks. No, there is no new table here. So lists, here we have, yeah, let's just copy from here. Yep, let's just take that, go to this. Okay, and we will create a new table called videos. For now, we will not add too many prefixes. We will just create a lot of stuff without prefix. So there is a risk of conflict with other extensions. But I don't want to worry too much about adding prefixes everywhere. So let's just call this videos. For now, videos will not have any author. So videos will just have a title. They will have a description. And for the other things, we will see that later. So for now, let's just do it like this. Oh yeah, we don't see the timestamps in the comments. I'm not sure when you posted. Register the root. So yes, the root is registered in the front end. I was waiting for the indexing to be done so I can register it in the backend. So I think that's done now. So let's try to trigger the autocomplete again. Yes. Okay. So yeah, it's called root. Okay. So that's the one. So here we just need to tell Flarum that this root exists so that it returns a single page application when we do. And for now, let's just call it vod.test. And that's all we need for now. So if we go back here and we refresh, now the front end knows that this page must be handled with a single page app, and we can see the hello world here. All good. Next, what we can do is, so on that page, I think I will use a container tag. I will put just a title here. We will see later what we do. So let's just call it test VOD, and then we will embed the player class. So let's just create this, export default class player extends. Is it? Yes, it's working. No, it's not the right one. Component, is it working? Why is it not working? It's just so annoying. Import component from Flarum common. It's almost like if whenever I do a stream, it stops working, because it's been months since I've had any problem with auto-completion on the JavaScript side, and suddenly it's broken again. So no idea. So yeah, we have a player view, and for now let's just put here some text, and yeah, let's just put the player component on the page. So for now it doesn't really make much sense to have a player component, but it will become useful later. So let's just refresh the page now, so you can see we have this comes from the page and this comes from the player component. Now in the player component we can switch this a bit. So now let's return for now a div. Let's call this VOD player with a class. Just it's for later, and then we can put a video tag inside. And I think that's all we really need for now. Maybe we can just add, let's start by putting an src. Maybe I can just copy. So we have the HLS playlist, but we also have here an MP4 list. So for now, let's just put this in the src just to get things started, and let's see what happens. So where is it? Here. Refresh. Okay, so the video is huge. Yeah, and maybe we can just add the controls for now. Controls true to the video player. Can I just get the video in let's just take the 480p video maybe. So for now, just to keep it smaller. Perfect. Okay, so here it should just play MP4 file. Great, perfect. Yeah, that's the first test. So we have an HTML5 player in there. Now let's use HLS. So HLS with HLS.js here. So we need to add this library to our extension. So if we go somewhere, here we must have, where do they give you the name of the package? Where is it? Embedding. What's happening? Where is the name of the package? Oh, it's here. Okay, how did I miss that? Okay, so the name of the npm package is hls.js. So we will add this to our extension. So let's go to the JavaScript folder. So we have our watch script running. So let's just stop the watch script in the JS folder, and we can do yarn add hls.js. What? Okay, I don't get the question. What's cooking? You mean what we are building? It's a video on demand extension. Right now we are building the player. So yeah, now we have hls.js installed. I think that's all we need. So we can start the watch script again. And now if we take the example, so where is the example here? Is there an example with the import? Not really. So something that will be a problem is that, yeah, we are only building for HLS. So there is a possibility that HLS is not supported. So we will see about that. Is there an example how to import it? Not really. But let's just do it here. So we can, so we use an onCreate callback in Mithril. And then here we will be able to access, we don't even really need that. So here we can do the code that they give us. So if I just copy this, put it here. So to get the video, this is not get element by ID. Instead, we will do this dot element dot query selector video. So this way we can get the first video element inside of the current component. So this is what it does. Next, video src. This is the string that we have in the streaming software here. So let's copy this, put it here. Then there's this really strange thing. I don't think I will use this. So I will just do the if hls.is supported. Now, how do we import hls? Oh, great. Okay. So PHP Storm can do it for me. So we import hls from hls.js. We check that it's supported. We create a new hls instance. We load the playlist, and then we attach it to the video. And we know here this is TypeScript. I just add an exclamation mark because I can also do it here. I know that there will be a video element as a child because there is no other way, since the component contains a video which is rendered all the time. So this will always return something. Yes, in the comments. Yeah, so exactly. Right now we are hard coding this, but later this URL will be stored inside of the video database entry. But just to get things started, we start by creating the player. But yes, later this string will be customizable for each video, and that's how it will work. And theoretically, if we were building a BB code, for example, instead of a VOD platform, we could also do something very similar and just take that URL that's being provided by the user. But yeah, here admins will configure those URLs. And yeah, I see Matteo, you mentioned the media source extension. Only in old browser it might not be available. So yeah, we don't care about it. And even more so because this is a proof of concept. Yeah. Oh, you mentioned that the code, this code is required for Apple. Oh, okay, yeah, there is native support for HLS. Okay. Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure how I will do this because since I will build my own player, I'm planning to use the HLS library API to know how much is loaded and stuff like that. So for now, we will just rely on the HLS library because I'm not sure how to support both the native player and my custom player. So for now, we'll just use the HLS library. Let's just see if it works. So I will remove the src here and we will run this code. Oh, there is something else we need to do here. We need to call the parent. So since this is a Flarum component and this is a mithril function, Flarum also has some logic that runs in there. So we need to call the parent like this. And here we don't really care about the typing, so we'll just put any. So those are methods, the load source and attach media, those are methods from the hls.js library that we have imported. This is not native, this is not HTML5 native. Here there is something else. We need to have some kind of feedback here. So for now, let's just have an alert just to know if something goes wrong, but not supported in this proof of concept. Let's see if it works. So, refresh. Okay, I think we will have a problem because hls.js will switch the quality, but we have not given a size to the player. So I think the size of the player might jump around if it switches quality. Okay, let's just go in the network tab just to see if it works. So if we load the page, let's see what happens. So yeah, we can see it loads. There's a lot of stuff loading. Oh yeah, each segment. So we can see it loads the manifest here. And then it starts loading the video segments. Wait, no, that's another manifest for HLS. And then here it starts loading video segments. And yeah, and if we jump ahead, we should be able to see that it loads more segments. Yeah, and each segment is really quite small. Less than a megabyte. Oh no, some of them are a megabyte. Yeah, it's about a megabyte per segment. Yeah, really interesting. Let's maybe add some CSS before we get completely blown out of proportions with that player. So I will move the files. I will just put the locals here and also create a less folder, create forum.less. I don't really need that folder anymore. I can import the CSS less forum.less like this, and here I can change this one. Yeah, Matteo, yeah, those are great points. Yes. Yeah, I will need to. Yeah, I should rely mostly on the HTML5 API. Yeah, maybe I should just. Yeah, the thing I was worried about is I'm not sure how the buffering works, but maybe it does work. Because I'm planning to change how much is buffered ahead, and I'm not sure if I get access to that information through the HTML5 API. If I change in HLS.js how much is buffered ahead, not sure if I will be able to see it. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe let's put back the code. Where was it? Yeah, let's just put this code back and we will see something else, but it's for later when we will do the language switch. I'm not yet sure how I will do it. Not sure how I will be able to switch it if I use a native element. But yeah. So if I do it like this, yeah, it should be everything needed for now. Yeah, let's hope everything works like this. But I really don't have any iPhone device to test. I might be able to test on, I have a MacBook, so I might be able to boot OS X. But yeah, for now we will continue. So yeah, just in case you have not watched my previous streams, we are still on X Ubuntu. Yeah, yeah, Matteo. Yeah, I was wondering if the buffered attribute was correctly updated by hls.js, but yeah, we will see in time because I have not done enough tests so far. Yeah. What was I doing? Yeah, I was adding CSS, but I kind of forgot to put anything in the CSS. So my class name, what was my class name again? VOD player. So let's just take this. Let's do a video VOD player max with 100% for now, and video display block. Is it enough? I think I also need to put size on the video. Yeah, so if I do it like this, what happens? Okay, good. Okay, so at least it's not going out of the screen now. Yeah, so what we want to do is start building a custom UI, because right now I put the controls here. Oh, but actually I can test right now my my buffering ahead theory. So here we can see how much is that? 1 minute? 1 minute and a half? Let's just check if the native API can see when we change the buffer ahead. So let's go check the documentation for HLSJS, and somewhere we can change the, so we have the back buffer, max buffer size. How is it called again? I checked. Oh, is it based on, is it just based on the amount of data? No, or maybe it's just this one, max buffer length. Is it this one? Oh, there is also a buffer controller class. Okay, maybe it's even more advanced than I even thought it might be. Max buffer length 30 seconds. Okay, so I think it's this one. So let's just try just to see if and this interacts with the native stuff. So HLS. So here we have a new HLS instance, and I think the settings are the first parameter. Yeah, okay. So if we put 90 seconds of buffer and try again here. So let's play. How much? That's not much more than before, is it? So if we put 200, I mean that's crazy for something you will do on. You will not buffer that much if you are streaming video over the internet, I would say, but okay, so I think it's working. So we can see, yeah, I think that time it's working. It's buffering 200 seconds ahead, and I guess we will be able to see it with the native HTML5 API. So yeah. Yes, Nash, yes, so here we will not be able to see likes directly because it's not, I mean, we are outside of the post and discussion concept, so we cannot directly see likes, for example. We would have to re-implement them for this. But yes, if, for example, we had a video linked to a post, we could totally have some kind of likes integration in the UI for the video directly. Yeah. For example, if we wanted to upload videos directly in a discussion, we could have a custom post type. We could store the HLS URL in the post type, and then we could replace the template of the comment post with a custom post UI that has a player and possibly the likes buttons on top of the video, for example. That's absolutely possible. Yeah, so for now, let's just comment out the buffer. We don't really need to play with that. Yeah. Now, so we want a custom player. So let's start doing that. So let's dump some controls here. So underneath the video, we will put a VOD controls element. And here we will have some buttons. So I'm not sure if I want to use Flarum button wrappers. I don't think I will do that because it's a bit too much. And I will customize the styling anyway. So for now, let's just have buttons, and inside of the buttons we will use Flarum icons. So if I just import icon from Flarum helpers icon like this, and here I can add FAS, FA play. What else are we going to put here for now? Maybe we can put a mute icon. We don't need too much right now. Oh yeah, full screen. Yeah, let's just do the basics for now. So yeah, let's put a mute and a full screen button. So let's just take the icons from here. So full screen. So can put the expand icon maybe. FAS, FA expand. This, and then here we can do which one was it? A mute. So which icon do we have for mute? Volume mute. Let's just put FAS, FA volume mute. Like this. Perfect. Next. So we need to handle the clicks on these buttons. Maybe let me just show you how it looks. So yeah, we have our little buttons here, but for now they do nothing. So if we have the play button, we can add an on-click handler like this. And here we'll need to do some stuff, and then we will have to do the same for the other buttons. Now, one of the things is how are we going to interact with HTML5 player? So what I'm actually going to do is store a copy of the video on the element itself. So I will create a property named video, and the type of that property will be HTML video element. And in onCreate, I will replace this code. So instead of creating a video variable, I will store the video in this.video. And then I can replace the code here with that. So now in here, I can use this.video. And I know that by the time the onClick handler runs, the onCreate function has to have run. So this property will always exist. So here I can do this.video.play. Here I can do this.video. Not even sure how that works. Is there a mute function? Yes, there is a mute. So I can do it like this. I can actually do it like this. And here I can do this.video. I think it's request full screen. Request full screen. Like this. Yeah, next let's just try if it works. So go back to the player. Okay, click play. Okay, it plays the video, but I don't think I can pause now. That's one problem, but yeah, we will do that in time. So now I have the sound. If I click this button, yeah, it mutes and it unmutes. Perfect. And if I click this, it switches to full screen. Perfect. So now let's add the pause ability. So here we can do this.video. Is it playing? Or it's just paused? Okay, it's paused. So if it's paused, we play. Otherwise, I don't remember if there is a method that automatically does either, but must be something like this. I'm not sure if is it paused when the page loads or paused. It's not like this, paused. I'm not sure if the property is false when we or is true in this case. Okay, it's true. So now we can play and pause and play again. Perfect. Nash, yeah, why the view is before the onCreate? It doesn't matter because it's a class and those are just class methods. So the order is not important at all. It's not, JavaScript is not really even aware of the order of the methods are defined in. So yeah, sometimes I would put the onCreate above, sometimes I put it below. It depends how I organize the code, but it doesn't change anything at all the way the code works. Likewise, even the properties, you really don't need to put them at the top. You can even put them at the bottom. It works just fine. It's just to tell it how that works. And yeah, in regular classes, it wouldn't matter really much. Don't think it really knows. And here, this class is not even kept like this. If you look, Webpack is compiling this code to be backwards compatible. So it completely builds the class differently. It creates callbacks, and it's not even really in that order in the final JavaScript file that you have in your extension. So yeah, the order of the methods here is not important. Yeah, here my idea was sometimes I like to put the view at the top if it's short, because then most of the interesting code is below. But we will see. Right now there is a lot of code here. I will probably create more components later and move the code to different components. So it's all temporary. Yeah. Something else. No, I think that's all. Now what we want to do is switch the buttons. So right now it still shows the play button here, and here it still shows the same icon even when you mute. So we want to switch the icon. And here we are starting to get in the domain of Mithril versus native, because what happens here, I can actually show you how it will work. So if I do paused, I can do it like this. So if it's paused, we use that icon, and otherwise we use FAS, FA, I think it's just called pause. So I can do it like this, and I can also do the same here. So if I mute, and we can switch with the other icon, which I don't remember the name. So let's just, so we have, how are those icons called? So we have mute and I think I will put volume up in normal and then switch to mute. So let me show you what happens. So this code is not good, but you might not notice why immediately. So will you? Yes, so right now I kept the two controls. So yes, I will be hiding the native controls when we are done. But for now I keep them both so we can easily check what happens, and we also have access to the alternate controls. This.video is undefined. Oh yeah, that's so when I said that in onClick we can be certain that this.video will exist. However, in the template itself, we cannot because it has not run yet. Because onCreate, I mean, the template runs the first time before onCreate is called. So we cannot access this.video yet. So what we can do here is maybe just this.video. How can I do this? Because I will change it later, but I can do if this.video and paused. Yeah, that will not do the correct thing. And here I can do muted. So if this.video, if there is no video or if it's paused, do it like this. Okay, so now it should at least run. Yep, so let's see, play. Now it switched to pause, and if I pause, it switched like this. And same thing if I mute. Yep. So now what is the problem? So let me show you. If I actually you can see it right here. I don't even need to use shortcuts from the keyboard, but you can see if I click play here, it switches to pause. And if I click again, it switches. But if I play the video by clicking on the video, or by clicking here, or by clicking space, it's not updating because this code here is part of the Mithril template, and it will only update when the Mithril template, when Mithril redraws. And when you click on the video, Mithril doesn't redraw because it's not implemented in Mithril, because if it redraws when you click on anything, it will just crash the browser because there will be too much activity. So yeah, that's not happening automatically. But when we click the button, there is a redraw, because if you have an event handler in Mithril, the fact that you click the onClick here, when this code runs, it automatically triggers a redraw afterwards. So that's why it works when you click here. In fact, if I pause here, you can see now it stays in that state, and if I click, there was a redraw, but you don't notice it because it assumes the correct state. So the way to switch this, there are two solutions. We can make the player work outside of Mithril. Basically, that's what would happen if we take any of the video player, for example. If we just picked a player from this list here, we would basically operate outside of Mithril, because we can put any of those players inside of Mithril, and then it will just do its thing on its own. But here, for the interest of doing this experiment, we will build a Mithril powered player. So we want a redraw to happen whenever the video is paused or played. We might need to get a bit creative, because, for example, when the bar here moves, we will not want to trigger a redraw for every frame of the video. That will be overkill. But for play and pause, we can use a redraw. That's perfectly fine. So how are we going to redraw the page when we click here? We will use an event handler. So we can actually do this here, just after creating the video. We can do this.video.add event listener, and here we can actually use event listener for play and pause. So the way I will do this, I will actually create a new method which will be on play pause. And this function will just, I mean, I don't really need, yeah, let's do a simple version first. What am I getting notifications for? Yeah, it's still Artemis. Yeah, we can watch Artemis later. So here, no, I want to just redraw. So when we play or pause, we will call mithril redraw. And I will add this, so this dot onPlay pause dot bind this, and I will do the same for pause here. So when we play or pause the video, we will call this method, and for now this method just redraws the page. So now I can refresh here, and if we click play on the video, you can see that it updated. Let's just check how many redraws happen. So I will just add a console.log template will redraw. So it's not entirely true, like it's not, view might be called even if the redraw does not happen in the end, because in mithril you can still cancel a redraw. So, but basically here I just want to know how many times we redraw. So you can see here, if I go back to the page and click play on my custom button. Oh no, even here there are, no, that's it. So let's start again. So you can see when we open the page, for now there was a single redraw. So there was a redraw to create the page. So that's all. If I click on the player, you can see that now a new redraw happened. But if we click this button, you can see it's small here, but you can see, oh, there were 2 redraws now. And if I click again, 2 more. Now we are at 5. And I click pause again and we have 2 again. So when I click that button, it triggers 2 redraws. Basically because the onClick here triggers a redraw, and then the event handler triggers a second redraw. So that's a bit overkill. We don't want 2 redraws. It's not too bad here, but in the long run for performance, you want to optimize so you only have 1 redraw. So what we will do here is cancel one of the redraws. And you can actually do this here by having an event. So I think it's click. No, it's mouse event. So here I have my click and I have an event. And basically what I can just do is event.redraw equals false. So that's a mithril feature. So anytime you have an event handler in mithril, you can take the event and you can tell the event that you don't want to redraw. The redraw happens afterwards, so that's why you can still cancel it. So by doing it like this, now if I click the button here, you can see there is a single redraw, and that redraw comes from the event listener we have for play and pause. So yeah. And what I actually want to do now is just to simplify this, this madness here. I will add a new attribute for paused. So I will just, I mean, that's not really necessary, but it might be a bit better for performance as well. Not really sure, maybe not that much, but can just have a paused attribute, and what I can do is every time play pause happens, we update this. This.paused equals this.video.paused. And now here I can just replace this code with this.paused. Yeah, I don't think that changes much. Yeah, and I could also use it here, but just for the sake of preventing any bug, I will keep it like this, because That way, if I did a mistake and this happens to be no longer synchronized correctly, I don't know how that could happen, but at least this code will still work right. Here it's useful because in case we have a lot of redraws happening, then we don't need to query the video element. I mean, at least that's the way I see it. But I don't think that has a lot of performance impact. This will be more important for the play bar. So yeah. Optimizing the redraws. It's hard to tell how big of an impact it has because, I mean, modern computers, you can have mithril redraw every second and you might still be fine. It depends what you have on your website. But for example, if instead of having one video, we had 4 video players or stuff like that, and we start to redraw every time anything happens on anything, it might hurt performance. Flarum also has a concept of how is it called again? The subtree retainer. There is a way in mithril you can tell your whole component to not redraw. There are some features for that, which Flarum uses. So to prevent, because Flarum inserts some HTML in the post, for example, there is some code that makes it so that it doesn't run every time you click on a button, because otherwise that will kill the browser. Yeah, so there are a lot of ways to optimize, but you might not need it. If you don't notice any problem, yeah, you don't really need to worry too much about it. But I do it because I know how that works, and I know that I will add some more stuff later. So now we could do the exact same thing for muted. So how can I do this one? So I could do on volume, or maybe just on mute for now. I think we will handle the volume later, but for now, let's just do the exact same thing for mute. Muted, 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 like this, and then this, and I guess there is an event line. No, volume. Is it the same? Is it a mute? Is there an unmute event listener? So in case of doubt, check MDN. There is no problem with the library loading each time it redraws. This code only happens once because it's in onCreate. So I don't think there is any problem with the library itself. So yeah, this code only runs once, and the library we import, it just imports once. And even if we created new player instances, it would still be fine. One thing we didn't do, maybe we can do this while we think about it. There is one thing about destroying the video. So if we stop playing a video, if the video is removed from the page, we should call hls.destroy. So the way we will do this here is we can use onRemove. And so this is another mithril hook. And here we could do hls.destroy. Actually, this brings another point. We don't have access to the HLS instance. It's just here. So we will create an instance for that. So HLS will be stored here, but the HLS instance might not exist. So it only exists if it is supported. So what we can do here is, if there is an HLS instance, we destroy it when the component is removed. because when the component is removed, the video tag is removed. So yeah, we can just remove it. We don't need it anymore. And we need to use this.hls.destroy. So like this. Am I completely in the dark? Why is it so dark in the picture? It's not that dark today. Will you see me? It changes absolutely nothing. Okay, never mind. I will stay in the dark up here. It's really not. Don't know why it's so dark in the video, because it's not dark at all in the room. Yeah. Yep. I was trying to do something else. Yeah, I wanted to check if the event exists for mute. So if you go to the video on Mozilla Developer Network, did they rename it? No, MDN Web Docs. Okay, whatever. So we have. No, I'm not in the correct place, am I? HTML. Huh. Where are? No, it's here. So okay, attributes, and then we have events. Okay. Emptied, ended. I don't know if that one is triggered at the end. Maybe we can try if we need to listen for ended or not. Seek, trade change, progress. So I guess there is no mute, so maybe it's volume change. So let's see if it works. Let's go back here. So let's see if I mute. Okay, I guess it works since the button here changes. Okay, and this one, yeah, nothing really to change there. Yeah, something else we can do is just put all of them with no redraw, because it's not needed anymore. So here we also remove the double redraw, and here we don't really need a redraw because it's just calling request full screen, which doesn't require a redraw at all. So we can also just suppress the redraw, that's fine. Yeah, oh, I'm just constantly switching to the wrong windows. You don't see my second screen, but sometimes if you hear my keyboard, it's because I'm accidentally switching screens on my other monitor. Yeah, so everything is still working. So of course, right now we don't see our custom controls in the full screen. This will be for later. We don't need to worry about that right now. Maybe now let's take a look at the play bar, which is an interesting challenge. So I've seen some players use a range input for the play bar, but I don't really know if it makes much sense, because for my use case, my main use case is not really accessibility is not the biggest concern, and we will heavily change the style of the play bar. So I'm really not sure it makes sense to use a range control. We should be able to make the control just fine with just area labels if we wanted to make it accessible. So yeah. Oh yeah, one of the advantages is that once you focus, we could use the arrows on the progress bar, but that's not even that useful because we will be adding a global shortcut to the page. So yeah, let's not use a range input. Let's just build a custom bar. So yeah, how are we going to do that? Let's create some CSS. So let's add a new item here. So let's just do VOD progress. Then what can we have here? So we can have VOD progress bar maybe. VOD. Yeah, here it moves with. So we have a lot of different styling we could go for. My two main inspirations here are the native controls. Here we have this kind of control. How do they do it here? Yeah, they change. Yeah, you don't see where you were anymore. I'm actually curious. I will just, yeah, let me just open something here. So I'm actually curious how they do it in the streaming website, because something that I sometimes find annoying, particularly on YouTube, it's hard to know where you were. If you pick up the player control, sometimes you don't know where you were before you drop it. So I'm not sure if that's something we want to change. What can I click on here? Let's go to anything. Just curious how they do it, and let's hope the copyright police is not after me. So yeah, let's just check here on Disney Plus. When you drag, no, it also moves, so the color moves along, so you don't know where you were. You start dragging and you lost track of where the pointer was. So yeah, so that's like this, and I'm not sure. Maybe I will just check on YouTube how they do it. How is a YouTube player done? What can I check here? So how is it? So YouTube has actually, yeah, I'm always surprised when I take a look. YouTube has a very complex player, because yeah, you have what is buffered. You have now that you even have the graph about user retention. But yeah, so if you click and if you drag it, no, everyone does it the same. They don't. So the red comes together with. Okay, yeah. So everyone seems to be doing it really similarly. So I think I will do something very close to what YouTube is doing. I like how you have the color, then you have the gray. It's very similar to the native player. So yeah, we will do something very similar to this, but then later we will make the seek preview, like here we have the thumbnail that appears on top and the time. That's something that the Firefox native player doesn't have. So yeah, let's keep that on the other screen just in case. Yeah, so let's do this. Yeah, let's do it just like that. No, what was it on? Oh yeah, because YouTube has. Oh yeah, it has the previews. Oh yeah, I'm not sure if we can really see that. So YouTube, when you hover the timeline, it creates that gray line. So I cannot use my pointer to point to it, but I don't know if you can see. So if I put, you can see that there is a new gray line that comes up to where I put the cursor. And it disappears when I'm not over. Here there is the red, gray, and very dark gray, and now there is a new gray that pops up, which is not the same gray as the buffer gray. It's a bit lighter, or no, darker in this case. But so that way you exactly see where you are hovering, which is not the case with the Disney Plus player. Doesn't have that additional gray stuff. It doesn't appear on top of the player. So yeah, I actually like that. So we might do the YouTube style hover bar. I don't know how everything is called. It has no. Don't know if there is any standard name. Okay, never mind. So The reason I was wondering about the color line and the dot is because we could have a single component, we could use a single DOM node for both of them. Instead of having an element for the dot and another one for the bar, we can use the bar and then we can use the after pseudo element for the dot. So I think we will do it like that. Yeah, let's do it like that. So for now, let's just have progress bar, and maybe let's have the seek bar. We will try to do that one later. So let's just put it like this. So now let's create. No, we also need the buffer bar. So how am I going to do this? Let's keep it like that, but buffer will have its own challenge because buffer is not a single line, it can be multiple lines. So let's just do the progress bar for now. So let's go to CSS, so VOD progress will have height, let's do it 10 pixels for now. Background will be dark gray, something like this. And then we can do progress bar. And here we can do this one position relative, this one position absolute, top 0, left 0, bottom 0, and then the width of the bar. Let's actually use we can use CSS variables for this. Will that work correctly? I guess it will work just as well. So maybe we can just use CSS variables. So let's have let's just call this one progress. And put it to 40% for now. And then that way we don't need any inline CSS. I don't know how that counts. How does this count in the CSP? But yeah, we don't need to worry about that too much. So now we can have width, and width is the variable of progress. Like this. Let's check this out. Refresh the page. Okay, so we have the bar, but we don't see the progress. So where is it? Yes, it's here. Did I forget to put a color? Yes. So let's just put red for now, so we see it. No. Background is red. Yay, fantastic. Okay, so we have the bar. Now let's put the dot at the end. So let's use after. Let's put no content. Do display block, position, absolute, right 0, top will be 5. So maybe I should use some variables here. So VOD. So here I can use less because that's not really important to be a CSS variable. No, actually it might be useful to have a CSS variable. What I can do here is progress height. Progress height will be, let's change it a bit. So let's put it 6 pixels. Next we use that as the height here. And here the top will be calc of the height divided by 2. I'm not actually sure if that's all that useful. Yeah, I think it will come in handy. So next, what I want to do here is I want to change the size of the disk. So progress marker radius. So let's just do it like this. So then we have the radius. So the radius will be 4 pixels. I think it will be very big, but we will change that later. So how is it in YouTube? Oh no, the dot only appears when you hover in YouTube. Yeah, I actually like that better. Oh yeah, but other players, yeah, it's always visible. How does that? I'm a bit confused. Does it change its height? Okay, I want to do something nice, but I'm not actually sure if I was under the impression that YouTube was doing it, but now I think it doesn't do. But let's just continue this just so I can show you. Yeah, so let's just let's use this anyway. So we have the marker radius. So now we have here, we'll do a border radius. This one we can just set to 100%. And we can do height equals calc var times 2. And width will be the same. And then we can do margin top, which is calc. I mean, is it the same? No, so let's just take this and do times -1. So here I'm centering the little I'm centering the circle. So let's just see if it appears. So I think Les is not liking what I'm doing here. So I will just think I will have to wrap this. You would not have to do this in normal CSS, but the calc compiler tries to do its own stuff by default, and it's messing with everything. Is that working? Great, perfect. So yeah, mouse over. We will need some mouse over later, because yeah, we will need to be able to know where you are clicking on the timeline. But for now, we are just styling the line. Maybe just to make it look nice, we can do border radius 2 pixels over. Oh no, the overflow cannot be hidden because it will mess up everything. So let's bar radius. Let's just I think I will need to change some stuff later. That's not going to work. Because if I do it like this here, I mean, maybe it will work, but just to make it look a bit nicer. So now it's rounded up at the end. We still don't see this block. I think I'm just missing. Yeah, I'm just missing the color. So progress color will be red. Then we can reuse this. So we have still not reached the point where I show you why using variables is such a great idea, but you will see in a very short amount of time. So yeah. Okay, let's just do it like this. Are we going to see it now? Yay! Okay, great. So we have the little dot. You might not be able to see it. I will make it a bit bigger. So marker radius, let's put it to 6 pixels. Okay, great. So that doesn't look too bad. So what I wanted to do now is when you hover above this, so I want to change the height. So let's just try this just for fun. Actually, I should move that to the player here. So I can do it like this. And now what I can do is when you hover the player, I can change the height to be 10 pixels. So let's do it like this. I thought that YouTube was doing this, but actually maybe they did it in the past. So you can see now when I go over the player, the bar changes height. It's a bit confusing, but so what I can do is also change the marker radius to be bigger. And what I can do is animate them. So this I need to change. Where is it? Height here. So transition 0.5 seconds height. So if I do it like this, and same thing here. So how do we list multiple properties? I don't remember. Can I just add them like this? No. How does that work? Let's just do the bar for now. So, oh, that's too slow. So right now it's a bit odd because it's not on top of the player, but yeah, so you can see when you hover above the player, then the bar changes height. So yeah, that's an idea. And the other thing I was thinking about here with the color is that I can do that when you are hover over this. We can change the color as well. So for example, we can do like this. Oh, it's nice. We even have conditional colors displayed by PHP Storm next to it. So I mean, that's just an idea. So now when we hover it, it changes color again. Yeah, it's a bit too much right now, but yeah. Okay, styling. Next, let's make it so the bar shows you the real progress. So to do that, what we will do is store here the progress. So we'll add a new progress number equals 0. We will add a new event handler. So this one will be on. So I'm not sure it's called progress. So we'll just progress. So video dot So how is it called? Because there is buffered, but that's not the one we need right now. I guess it's just current time. Yeah, it's current time. Okay. And what I can do here is already do the calculation. So I can do this.video. So what do we have? Duration? Yeah, okay. And then I can do times 100. Okay, and now here I can switch that to be this.progress plus the percent sign. But this is the part that will kill performance because the progress will happen all the time. So we will probably not do it like this. So I think that will be it. So it should work, but it will not be very good for performance. Let's try it out. Play. Okay, so it's working. But so we don't see it anymore. But if I just add my little redraw stuff here, console.log redraw. I think we will see a bunch of redraw. And maybe many even I think many redraws per second. Oh no, not that much. Is it just once every second? Okay, but you can see that that's way too much. That's not good. think we almost see it lagging. So yeah, that's not really good. So this part we will probably need to update client outside of Mitchell. So if we rewrite this to be Mitchell friendly, so instead here we'll just set the progress to 0, I guess. One problem is how do we set the initial value? But I think we will just put 0 here. So progress will be 0 by default. And then we will rename this variable. This one will be called update progress. And we will not redraw. Instead, we will do this.element. We don't even need to do, this is already the element. So we can do this.element. How is it? Style? What kind of, oh, it's HTML. Is it not an HTML? As HTML div, no, div element. Oh, I remember I did this previously, but I forgot again. So how do we set a CSS variable? How is it called again? Set. Oh, it's style.set. Okay, style.set property. So that style.set property, and it will be progress. And here we will set the same thing that we did before, like this. Yeah, so I don't really know if this is necessary. Yeah, Flarum is not happy. I mean, TypeScript is not happy, so we'll do it like this. And here we can also add the %, and I'm not sure about the priority of operations, but I think that should work like this. Okay, and now I can rename this one to update progress. Perfect. There's just one more thing here. I don't know if the player can start at another position. But just to be sure, we will call this method here as well. Because if the player starts at a different point in time and never changes, this listener might never trigger. So we'll just call it a first time in case the player somehow starts at a different place. Actually, I think we can start at a different place. Let's just check if it works first, and then we can see if my thinking is good. So now if I play this again, okay, so there is a little problem. The dot starts outside of the area, but I think I know why. So yeah, you can see there is, why is there no redraw text? Did I remove it again? We should see now that there are no longer that many redraws. So there is just a redraw at the start, and now if I... Huh, okay, it's still redrawing. Oh no, so it's redrawing when I... What? It's redrawing when I seek a head. Is it because it triggers pause? It might be triggering pause for a second, so maybe that's why it redraws. But it doesn't redraw just by moving forward in time. So that's good. Now we have a little problem with the dot. You can see when we are at the start, it's actually outside of... Oh! What? Why is it not updating when I go there? It's updating when I seek a head? Hey, what's going on here? What? What is going on? Progress? Oh, it's no longer updated? What? Now it's updated again. Why is it not updating when I move here? And now it updates again. What's going on? Oh, now it's what? Now it's working again. Okay, strange, but yeah, but if I go to the end, yeah, you can see the dot here is not quite at the end, and at the start, it's outside of the bar. That's because I centered it vertically, but I didn't center it horizontally. So I will just fix that. So I have this negative margin at the top. I also need to put it to the right. And now the dot should be centered. Okay, that looks better. Yeah, and if I seek there. Okay, perfect. Great. Now, what else? Does... Oh yeah, YouTube shows the time below. Okay, so, but yeah. Now, what else can we do? I'd like to... Yeah, I think we should get the bar working because it's a bit confusing if it doesn't do anything. So, how am I going to do this? We need to decide how to implement the interaction with that bar. And again, this probably has to happen outside of Mithril because just clicking on the bar, we could trigger a redraw, that would be fine. But if we start dragging the bar along, we cannot call a redraw every time it moves. So yeah, let's first add some mouse handling on that. So let's add an event. So again, so this, we can do this here. So on the progress bar, we will add a new event listener. So this part we do with Mithril. We add an on mouse down. What we can do here is immediately suppress the redraw because we are not going to use the redraw, but we use Mithril to create the event listener because it's very practical. So mouse down, and then we will add mouse up. And next, we will take the location of the click. So this is the kind of thing, I think jQuery has some methods that you can reuse to simplify some of that, but now it's become very easy with a native vanilla JavaScript as well. So we will just do it vanilla JavaScript, and I think I will have to Google some of the stuff, but let's just check. So we have the, how does it work again? So we have the client. We have the client X, we have the page. I think it's page X and page Y that we use. And then we can use, yeah, let's just do a search because, yeah, JavaScript, mouse position. I mean, there is a lot to find here. So what do we have? Yeah, client bounding rect. I guess we will need that. Okay, no, it's client X. Okay, yeah, but well, let's just go with that. Yeah, don't just copy paste stuff without reading through it. That's a good idea, but yeah, I remember that code because it's not the first time I have to copy paste it. So yeah, we get the position of the parent element. So event dot target. Thing is, I'm not sure target will be the correct element here. How am I going to do this one? So I can just do event.target.parents why is it all null? Object is possibly null. No, it's not null. But it's also so. Yeah, I need to add some typings for TypeScript. So we know that target which will be an HTML element. So then it means we can call the, how is it called, parent? Is it not called parent? How is it called? I'm sure I have used that before. Parent. No, that's too old. How is it called, the method that lets you filter? Oh, it's closest. Okay, great. Can I just change this one to this? No, closest is on HTML. It's a bit annoying, but yeah, okay. Closest, and so we take this element, and then we get the bounding rect of that element. Okay. Yep. And this we also know that it should exist. Okay, great. Dot 100 pixel. It doesn't really need to be bigger for now because it's just the visual. I'm not going to do anything special with the dot itself. Yeah, it's just there, and then we will move the whole bar when you click somewhere else, so it will move along. Yeah. So now we have the rectangle. Next we can take. So we don't actually care about which one is it. Y. We don't care about the Y. We just care about the left. Yep. And so const. So we can use const. So we have the x position in the element, and then what we can do is divide this by rect dot width, and now we have a percentage. So what we can do now is go back to this. So how am I going to do this here? So maybe I can have a method, so set visual progress, and here I can use value, and then I can move that code here. Value will be a number. How can I call this one? Fraction, maybe. I will have to put let's do it like this for now, but so fraction times 100 plus the percent. So now I can change this code here to this.set visual progress, and the value will be this. And the reason I do this is because I will reuse this function when you scroll along. So I mean, do we really need it right now? Let's just keep it like this. I will use it just afterwards. So now I have the new progress, maybe I can call this. And now I will do this dot video dot current time, and current time will be video dot duration times new progress, like this. So this should handle just a click. So let's just try that. Big suspense. Will it work? Click on the bar. Oh, that's amazing. It works first try. So if I click somewhere, it changes the. Oh, but why is that event not always? That's just so odd. The seek the progress event is not systematically okay, so for now I'll just call this here. Maybe it's just not designed for that actually. Is there a mention about it in here? Progress, how often is it called? No, play. Which one is it? Huh. Or is progress about the loading? Okay, I don't see progress here, so I might have messed up. Progress has nothing to do with what I'm using it for. Can I check the media global attributes? Yeah, let's not worry about that too much. I think we need to change how the progress is updated. So I think the correct way to do this is not to use the progress event at all here. So I will just drop all of that. And then we will use, how is it called again? The animation frames to have something smooth. So we will do window.request animation frame, and then we will have let's just have a method called animation frame, and here we can schedule this. So how do I do this? Because basically, so I can create a frame, I can do this dot animation frame dot bind this. I can call this from here. I can even do it first after the video exists. And now what I can do is move this to here. So now every time the browser is redrawing, we will update the time in the visual bar. So one problem with this is that this code will never stop running because it's an infinite loop. So it will work fine, but if we open multiple players, we will have more and more loops, and every time you close the player, it doesn't quit. So to quit this, we need either a flag, or we can put this in a timeout, but I don't think we will use a timeout. So I think we'll just use a flag. So continue animation frame equals true, like this, and then in onRemove we will do this dot continue animation frame equals false, and here we will only do this if we continue the frames, just to optimize for performance. Yeah, so now let's just check if it works better. So if we click here, okay, yeah, now it's absolutely instant. It's even more instant in my own implementation. I think in the native player it only moves once it has been buffered, maybe? Huh. Don't know why it's so fast here. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to work just fine. Now I want to be able to drag it. So now here I have the mouse down, and you can see nothing happens until I release it. Also something else, if I click on the bar and release outside of it, nothing happens. So now let's just do a few changes. So first, let's make it continuous. And to do that, we'll actually need a new variable. So timeline previewing. Let's call this maybe timeline previewing. So this will be just a flag. And when you put the cursor down, or maybe we can just call this seeking. So when you put the mouse down here, yeah, we can do seeking equals true. And then when you put the mouse up, we can do seeking equals false. And what I want to do here actually is on mouse move, we will do the same stuff. So when you move the mouse, what did I mess up? Okay, like this. So when you move the mouse, I want to do the same calculation, except we don't update the time here, we update the progress here. So this dot visual progress, and now we can put this here. So there's a bit of duplication of code. We will fix that later. So when the mouse moves, we set the visual progress. Except we only do that if we are seeking. So here we can add if not seeking, just return. And the last thing, we don't want the frame here to update if we are seeking. We don't do that. So we only update the time with the current time if we are not seeking. That way, if you are moving here in seeking while it's still playing, that way you see the seek instead of the play. I hope you are getting what I mean here. So I think we can test it. So if I click, so this should still work, but now if I okay, so something is wrong. So I have the mouse down. Okay, so there's just something wrong when we move. So yeah, here we don't need that. We just need the new progress. Okay. Let's just try this again. Now if we move, so yeah, it's just updating here, but it does nothing. Just when we release it, it moves. Great, okay. Now the next part is that, so you can see we can move it, but if I move the mouse outside of it, it's still seeking, but it's no longer updating with my horizontal position. So we actually want to move this code to a global event listener. So I will create a new some new listeners here. So we will have I'll put it above here. So on mouse move, and then we will have on mouse up. I will move this code. So this one goes move. So which order was it? Yes, so this one was for up. Yes, okay. And here we need event, mouse event. And then this code is for the move. So put this here. Okay, great. Next, we don't need this anymore, and we don't need the redraw false stuff because this was just for mid-trill. But now, instead, we will register this event listener to the global context. So we'll do this here. So we'll do window.add event listener, mouse move, this.mouse move, mouse move.bind this. And then mouse up. Mouse up like this. And those events, however, we need to remove when we are done, because unlike the event on the videos, which will be destroyed together with the video, those ones are on the window. So we actually need in onRemove we need to, we can just do it here. So we can do remove event listener. And I think this will work. I hope the bind is not messing up with this. I think that should work. Okay, great. And now just one last thing, the mouse up, we also only want to do it if we are seeking, since this will trigger every time you lift the mouse anywhere in on the page. So yeah, let's try that now. So now you still need to click on the bar here to start. But no, target.closest is null. Okay, because the code changed. So yeah, this is no longer working right. So let's just create a new function to wrap this. So mouse position in play bar. Let's just do like this. Take the event, then we can yeah, we can just reuse, so we can reuse this, except now it's no longer the event.target. We will use this.element.query selector. So we'll find the progress and get the rectangle, and then same thing as before. So do it like this. And now we can just replace this code. So here we can do this event, and here we can do this dot mouse position event. Now it should work anywhere. Let's see. So if I click, yep, it's going, and now okay, I can move my mouse pretty much anywhere I want. I think there is one problem. Yeah, it's going over 100%. Yep, that's not good. And technically it goes negative, but I think you cannot render an element of negative width. But I think it crashes. Does it create an error if we send a timestamp that's outside of the range? No, it's fine, but we don't want to go outside. So let's just add a check here. So mat.max. Is there a between? No. So can just take the largest of 0 and whatever, and then max.min of 1 and whatever. So this value will be between 0 and 1 inclusive. So now if we refresh, no, something's wrong. Yeah, we need some more parentheses. Only 2. Yeah. Let's go back to the page here. Okay, so yeah, now it's okay. It's blocked to 100% maximum. Great, perfect. I think we will do a quick break, and I will be back for at least half an hour more. We still have some progress to do. I think we will do the buffer bar on the custom bar here. Yep. So I see there is no longer anyone online right now. So I'm doing 5 minutes of pause, and then I will be back for half an hour and maybe a bit more. Yeah. So see you in a few minutes. And we are back. And I'm still in the complete dark, but I don't know why it's so dark in the in the stream. Maybe I should just boost the lightness, the light in there, because I have plenty of light here. I just don't know why it looks so dark. Is it that dark on YouTube as well? Yeah, I guess. No idea, because yeah, if I go back, you will see me better, but yeah, never mind. Not sure why. It worked well the other times, but yeah. Okay, so we have our progress bar. We can drag it along, so that's pretty good. Oh, we just had an issue here. I released the mouse, but it didn't stop. Is it when I release above the player? Huh. If I go here. Okay, so there is something. The mouse up is not triggering when we release above the... Huh. Interesting. Okay, but that's not a big problem, because we will prevent direct access to the player later, because we will have our own pause button at some point on top of it. But yeah, let's not worry about that too much right now. So now I want to add the buffer indication here. So that one is a bit more tricky, because I'd like to use mithril as much as possible, but here I'm a bit conflicted, because mithril will be great, because I could loop through. I don't know if you have ever seen how it works with the buffer. Where is it? No, it's not this. So buffer. How is it called? It's not here. Muted. Where is buffer? There is a feature to control the buffer. It's a buffered. I can't find it here. So buffered. Okay, it's here. So you get an array of the range. The range is plural that are loaded. So so you need to loop through them, and then you can render each of them on the player. I could also just take the last one and use that, but that's not good if you play back and forth on the timeline. So we have multiple objects, and if we used mithril, that would be great, because we could just map through the objects in the template, and how to say that? So then, yeah, we don't have to worry about creating new element, because basically we need a div for each time range that we have here. So I think we will use a hybrid. So we will use mithril to create the divs. However, we will use the request frame feature to update the length of each object. And I will show you how we can do that. So let's start by rendering the buffer blocks. So basically we will have multiple of these here. So let's call this dot video. So if there is a video, we will do this dot video dot buffered dot so it's a loop. We cannot loop through it. I want to call map on this. Maybe I can do for. Can I do for each? No, not even for each. How does that work? Buffered. Time ranges. How do you query them? Length. Start end. Oh no, you need. What? It doesn't say, so there is a parameter, I think. Yeah, you need to pass the index. Okay, so lengths give you how many ranges there are, and then you need to call start and end with each value. So how can I do this here? It's annoying. I want to do a map, but I cannot just do a map. So can I do, how is it called? It's a for loop, but in Python they have it where you create a range of numbers. I think there might be a way in JavaScript. Let's just check. JavaScript create array from a range of numbers. Oh yeah, I think I remember now how to do this. JavaScript create array of n elements. I think we can do it like this. Create an array. We don't care about the values. We just want to map. Array fill. What? Can I just do array? Is it really working? I don't remember doing it like this, but yeah, let's try that. Let's try if it works. So if I do array, then I do an array that has the same length as the buffered object, then I can call map on it, and then I don't need whatever is in the array. I think it will be just undefined. I just need the index. So now it will loop from 0 to length -1. And what I can do next is return a div. This div will have this class, so I'm just moving this here. And then this object will have some CSS variables, again, CSS variables for the win. And here we will have, so we have, how is it called again? Start and end. And what does it return? A number of seconds, I guess? Time of set. I guess it's seconds. So how do I do this? So I will just wrap. I need some additional logic. So here we will have start. I'm wondering if I want to use the time here or use a percent, because so far we have been using percents. But actually CSS variables give us a really nice way to also do the time, because I could store the duration as a variable, and then just have to I could do all the calculation in CSS. But here we can do length. So yeah, maybe let's switch everything to seconds based instead of percent based, because it will be a lot easier. No, it will mess up my my seeking code, but I think it will be easier to understand in the long term, because then I have a single place to replace the logic that calculates the length of a video. So yeah, maybe let's try this. So start here. So let's just do it with the time. So this.video.buffered.start index. So here we will have start is the raw value, and then length will be end minus start. And the other thing we will do here is give us a way to update this later. So let's just do add a data attribute, and it will be data buffer index, and this value will be the index. We will use that later. So if we do it like this, and now let's just switch the code to duration based. So now we will have duration. So duration will be oh, that's a bit of a problem. The duration is not noun here. So no, let's just we will add maybe let's have a new method. So set element variable. Let's do this like this. Now we can do string name string value string. Now I can just move this code here, and now here I will call this dot set element variable, and I will set this like this, and I can replace this to be name value. That way I can use the same method now in here. So oh yeah, when do I do it? If I do this dot video dot add event listener, so we have what? Loaded metadata. I think we can use this. Now here I can just use an arrow function, and I will just set the duration to this.video.duration. I see there is also a non-duration change, so let's just log when that happened, just to see if that's useful. Yeah, that's fine. We'll cast that to a number, to a string. Okay, so now that we have the duration stored, we can change the code. So now the progress will no longer be based on %. So set visual progress. Here we need to change this. So now it will, I mean, we don't really need to do it like that. We can just call this wherever we need it. So let's just go back to set visual progress. So we have this one here. So this one will set the progress to the position times this.video.duration. So here we need to multiply, because when we move the cursor we only know a %. But later we will need to know the time as well. Here, however, no, that's still the same code. Okay, so there wasn't that much more. So next we just have the frame. Where are the frame stuff? Animation frame, and here we just set the progress to the video current time. Like this. All right. And we can go to the CSS. I see we have viewers back on the stream. Don't hesitate to leave any question if you have any. I hope you can follow. I'm not sure if you are the same people coming back, or yeah, we are doing some CSS for the progress bar, which we have here in the custom player. What I had was the width of the progress bar. The width was progress, but now progress is a time instead of a %. So now what we are going to do is do a new calculation here. So we will do progress progress divided by duration and and multiply by 100%. I think if I do it like this, it will give me a number in percent automatically, and it's all done with CSS. So let's see if it works. Okay, so duration change is triggered at the start, so maybe we can just use that. Hey, it's working. Great news. So, yeah, so I can just change back my JavaScript here. So I can use the duration change. So when the duration changes, we set the duration to that value. I think this should be good enough. All of that was why, yeah, because the buffer stuff is not visible yet. Let's just see. So yeah, we need to give some styling to the buffer, because right now there should be some divs. Is it there? If I trigger a redraw, oh no, I don't see. So I don't see my my buffered blocks. So what's happening with this one? So let's just see what is happening to the buffer stuff. Wait, did it crash? This.video. Yeah, the CSS is indeed, you don't see that a lot, and actually I have not been using CSS variable for very long, actually. Before Flarum switched to CSS variable, I never went too much into it because I didn't see much benefit. And then later I found some interesting stuff, just like the idea, like you have a play bar and you want to change the color of a lot of stuff. If once the color is used as a background and elsewhere it's used as a color and stuff like that, when you hover, you need to change each one of them. But if you use a CSS variable, you can just change the variable and everything else changes, even if it is different CSS attributes. It's really interesting. And yeah, and here the ability to put the duration, we can see it here. So the duration in seconds ends up in a CSS variable, and yeah, it's used to style this. But I don't know if it doesn't give a lot of benefit over percent. Both will have the same performance, I think. Not a big change. But it's very convenient to assign the value to something that a human can understand what is here. Unfortunately, we cannot directly display this because later we will display the current time when you hover, but yeah, that cannot. It could maybe be done with CSS, but it will not be very maintainable. So yeah, we will use JavaScript still. I still don't see my my buffer blocks. Despite, so I can see there is clearly a redraw, and we see number 1, so there should be one here. So I'm not sure what's happening with this stuff. So maybe this code is not working. So let's just try what happens here. So if I log this, so if I just log the start of every block just to see if my map call is working. I really like to use map in Mitchell templates because that way you don't need to create variables or have an array and add stuff to the array. It's really nice to be able to just add some. Okay, so Yeah, the array is empty. Okay, so that's not really good. But why is it empty? So do I need to call fill? Dot fill. So if I do what we had on the example, just fill with the letter A. Does that work? Okay, so somehow that works. So yeah, so let's just drop this. Let's do fill. Yeah, I really like to use map, and that way I don't have any other variable, but yeah, sometimes it becomes so convoluted to do stuff like this and then just make an array in the view function and use it later. It will work just as well, but just from the prettiness of the code, I really like doing it like this. So now, do we have what do we have? String contains an invalid what? Oh, is it because it returns? Is it not returning a number? What is it returning? A number. No, what's wrong with that? Okay, do we get anything in the DOM? We still don't have anything in the DOM. So, oh no, that might be the error. Data, yeah, there is no dash in front of a data attribute. Let's try again. I think I've seen that error before. Try again, play. Yes, so you can see. Okay, so okay, I messed up. It's not a div. It's missing the dot in front of the div. So just put the dot so it will be a div. But you can see we have data buffer index 0, start 6, length 23 here. So let's try to style that block now because we don't see it right now. So CSS. Now we will have some CSS reuse here. So the progress bar and the VOD buffer, is it just called bar? Yeah, so those two will have position. Yeah, so this will be common, and we can even put maybe the border radius on all of them. Next, we will add some styling to this one. So this one will actually have left will be based. So I can copy this too. So width will be how is it called? So we'll use this. So the length, the width will be length divided by the duration, and then the height. No, not the height. The left position will be, so it's called start, and again start divided by duration, and then background, and background will be some sort of gray. We might need to do it to make it semi-transparent later, but we will see. Refresh. So yeah, so let's just play. Oh yeah, so okay, so we can see the gray bar. So that's the seek. So now let's just seek further. Now it's not appearing immediately because of the redraw stuff, but you can see each time I trigger a redraw by clicking this button, it updates. So at some point it will stop going forward because it's a bit confusing. It looks like it. Yeah, okay, now we have buffered the maximum. Okay, so it works, but it only updates on redraws since it's in the Mithril template. So now we will do the hybrid part. We will, in the animation frame, we will do a similar logic. We will do here for let I equals 0, I is smaller than this.video.buffered.length, I plus plus, and now we will basically update those attributes. So we can do this dot element dot query selector. Now here there might be some opportunity to optimize, because this will make a lot of DOM operations, but it's still much better than redrawing the whole Mithril app each time. So basically we will have this one called buffer. We will catch the data buffer index, which has the given I value. So we can do it like this. What did I do now? Oh, there is a missing plus. Okay, like this. Okay, so we can find the buffer div, and now we will do set. What does it return? Element. So this will be an HTML element, and then we can do this. We can do buffer dot style dot set property, and now we'll do again start. Can copy the code here. So it's a bit duplicated, but it's not very. Yeah, don't know if it can really be deduplicated, but basically, okay. So we set start to that, and then we set length to end minus start. How did I? Oh, because Mithril is automatically casting here. Okay. So here we have I, and we will again cast to a string just to make TypeScript happy here. Okay, so now, so the elements are created with Mithril, and there is just one last thing we will have to do. And I'm not sure how to do it. Oh yeah, so Mithril basically will create the divs, and then we just update the attributes on the divs. Now the last thing is, how do we know when to create new divs? Because Mithril will not redraw, so we need to tell Mithril to redraw when the number of divs changes. So I'm not sure if it's a really good implementation, but I can store here buffer length. Maybe call it last buffer length. Put it at 0. And what I can do then is here, if the length is different from last buffer length, we call for a redraw. And then we can set the last buffer length to this. Then this doesn't really need to happen. Maybe I can just put it here. Oh no, because then it's by. Oh yeah, that's the problem. So actually, this element might not exist if it has not been created yet, because redraw is asynchronous. So I will just add a condition here. So if the buffer exists, buffer div might not exist yet if redraw has not finished. Yeah, let's do it like this. So if the buffer exists, we update its size. So now if I come back here, let's see if it works. Yeah, we can see the buffer is growing on its own, and it will probably stop when it reaches. How long is that? It says 30 seconds by default, but that's clearly more than 30 seconds. We will see when I will have the player bar. Okay, so, but if we seek there, okay. And now just the thing, so if we seek ahead, it will create a second buffer. So if I click here, it starts a new buffer, but we don't really see it because it's behind. But you can see here when I hover the DOM, so one of the buffer is hidden at the start behind the bar, and the second buffer object, yeah, it has now reached the end. So yeah, and it only starts from here. Yep. And if I go back, maybe you can see, will it create a new buffer? Okay, it's creating a new buffer. Yeah. So there might be a bit of a hole. Oh no, it went back. Oh, okay, yeah. So it created a new buffer, but then the second to last buffer merged with the last. So you can see it came back to just 2, and it was again removed by so maybe it will happen again if I click here. Yeah, it's creating a new buffer, and it loads, and suddenly it will be merged together, and our logic works just fine because the logic here that calls the redraw works. Even if it increases or decreases, it will work in both directions. And yeah, so all good, all good. I think, yeah, I have a few more minutes, so can we create the style? I want the YouTube style. So previously I showed when we hover, there is that gray, there is that second line that appears and shows you where you are about to click, which is different from dragging the red bar. It's just the gray marker. So we will just update that one. So we will try to create that. So how can we do this one? We need a new div. So how can we call this one? So VOD. So there was the seek. Was it that one? I think that was. I think I intended to use this one. So, but do we see it on? Huh. YouTube is constantly changing stuff because I'm sure something used to happen, but I don't see it anymore. Yeah. So let's just try to make this bar work. So I will put it there. Next, I will style it. So this one will have something similar to this. Did I change the progress color? Don't remember. So here we will just, so we will give this one a white background, but it will be semi-transparent. That way it will have an effect similar to YouTube. And then here we will have seek, we'll have the seek time. Maybe let's do it like this. And here we can also style it with the same stuff. Okay. And now we go back here. We will have the seek time will be 0 by default. And when we start hovering, so how do I do that? So there is the seeking, which is used for the click and drag. But if I want to do this, I want a second one. So I will just call it this one. I will have to rename everything later. So hover seeking. Let's call this one hover seeking. So this will happen as soon as we enter the progress bar. So how does it work on YouTube? Yeah, it's on the progress bar. Okay, so we will do the same. So we'll add a new thing here. We will have on mouse enter. Yeah, let's do it. So we just copy this. So we will have on mouse enter, and then we will have on mouse leave. We will not redraw. We'll just add the hover seeking. And when you leave, we set it back to false. Okay. Next, we might also want to set it to false when you release the mouse. So on mouse up, we set both of them to false, the active seeking and the hover seeking. And then when we move, if you are hover seeking, we need the position. So I think we'll just calculate this all of the time. Yeah, let's just copy this. So const target time. So it will just be like this. Here we set it to that variable, but here we set it to what's going on here? Yeah, it's a variable now. Okay, like this. Perfect. Here we will set another variable. We'll set the seek. Is it called seek? How did I call it? Seek time? Yeah, seek time. Seek time will become target time, and just what we can actually do here is just if we are not seeking, we will reset it to 0, because otherwise there's no code to reset it to 0. So let's just do it like this. We could also set it back to 0 every time we exit the seek, but yeah, let's just do it like this. This could almost be in the animation frame, but oh yeah, because if you don't move the if you don't move it, let's change this. So what did I do? I cannot cancel correctly. So let's just, so it was like this, target time. Okay, so, and we will set it back to 0 when we stop the seeking. So let's just do it like this. We might need to have a variable for that, a method that stops seeking. There is a lot of room for improvement, so let's just do it like this. Yeah, okay. Let's try if it works. So I think we have all the code already. So I don't see anything. So the seek bar is there, and then we have the seek time there. So it's not updating. So let's add some more logging. So console.log hover seek. So this is on the mouse enter. And then this dot hover seeking, seek time. Guess it's not working. Okay, so we don't see the mouse enter event. Did I spell it incorrectly? On mouse enter, on mouse leave. Is there maybe a problem because it's just an empty div? Oh, there is a missing E. Mouse enter. Okay, I think that will work this time. Yay! Oh, I messed up. I said that I wanted to make it white, but I made it black. That's not what I wanted. Okay, let's make it white. Great, yeah, and you can still see the buffering bar underneath. And if I just click, it goes there. Okay, great. But if I drag this, you don't even see the other bar. This is a hole in the sink, in the buffering bar. Oh, I'm so confused. And there is something else I have not touched yet. I know there is a seeking buffer. You can query the video to ask where you can seek. Currently, I'm not doing it, so it means that I mean, I could use it for something else, but like I could do something different. If, for example, if I click here, I think it will tell me something different because here I'm within the buffered zone and here I'm outside, so I could do something based on that. But I think the seeking API might be even more advanced because it has to do with videos that maybe if you are watching a live video and it needs to know if you can go to a given timestamp, and it might not know immediately. So there is something with that. We might not need to touch it at all, hopefully. Yeah, so yeah, there is no longer anyone watching. So oh, there is someone back. We are going to end this about here, I guess. So we have not done a lot on when it comes to what we had on the requirements. Yeah, we focused on the player, but the player is a big part of this project. Yeah, so I think tomorrow we will try to... So I will stream back at the same time tomorrow, and we will do a bit more progress on the player, but I will also try to do some progress on the video listing. So instead of hard coding the video URL, we will have a list of video objects and we will store the URL in each of those objects. That way we can have more than just that one video. And I will also try to load, so I have prepared, it should be, question is, did it finish processing? Because I showed you at the beginning of the stream, it was saying it was 1,200% processed. Great, okay, so tomorrow we will test with that. So here we have, I mean tomorrow, we can just test right now. So here we have a recording of, where is it? Here, embed. We have a recording of one of my last streams. I don't remember which one it was. Maybe the multi-select stream. We can put this one instead, and this one is much longer. It's almost 2 hours. So let's, where is the code? Yeah, here. No, here. Okay, let's change the URL to this one, and let's see, is everything working fine? Refresh. Okay, so you might be familiar with that screen. Let's tick ahead. Yeah, I don't expect any problem with the playing stuff, since yeah, the file is hosted on a platform that's designed to stream files. Yeah, so yeah, really no, almost no delay. But yeah, if I use here. But with a longer stream, you don't see the buffering, you almost don't see the buffer bar since it's so small. Yeah, okay, great. And this also works, yeah, perfect. So we will stop here for this stream. And yeah, tomorrow, yeah, I think I want to show the time when you hover on here to show you where it's about to seek. We need to also add the current time as text somewhere in the UI, and then we will make this pretty, put it on top of the player and remove the native controls. Yeah, that's about it. And yeah, then the video listing, and it will probably not be just those 2 videos, 2 episodes of my stream. It will continue next week, probably. I'm not sure how much work I want to do on this and how much as a stream, but if you like it, just let me know, drop a like, leave me comments if you have any for the next video. You can also leave them on the forum, the Flarum forum, if you want to make extra sure I see them, but I should see the comments on YouTube as well. And yeah, we will be back tomorrow at about the same time for another stream, and let me know if you would like to see one during the week, but otherwise it will probably continue next weekend. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!